Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, and we've got two replays for you today, both of which are a little strange and amusing at the same time. This one submitted by none other than my incompetent semi-retired camera minion Eddie, who goes by the name of Oncoming Storm in World of Tanks, and this was during the football mode. This was one of the most bizarre matches I think I've ever seen. Not quite sure what Wargaming was smoking during the course of this particular game, but, well, you'll see. Now, in case you're not aware, the rules for the football mode are each match lasts 7 minutes. At the end of those 7 minutes, the team that has more goals wins, or if one team scores 3 goals, they automatically win. If the score is tied when the time runs out, it goes to overtime, and then the first team to score a goal wins. It's the old golden goal rule. But that only happens if the score is tied at the end of the 7 minutes. At least that's what's supposed to happen. So, Eddie is playing in the E100 Sport, which is a defender, and in fact he's spawned in the goalkeeper's position. The problem is the other E100 Sport on the team has decided that that job is his. And to be fair, he does do a pretty good job. So there's absolutely no point in two E100s crowding the goal. A little bit too much defence there. So young Eddie is now a midfielding goalkeeper. And actually, if we're going to be completely fair here, it is probably best that the other E100 took over in goal from young Edward, because he did do a fantastic job. And, well, they would have probably lost 3-0 if not for this guy's fantastic efforts in keeping the goal safe. If this guy hadn't been here, Eddie's team would probably have lost 3-0 long before the timer ran out. But with less than a minute and a half to go, it is in fact Eddie who scores the first goal. Which means the enemy team now have just over a minute in which to equalise, tying the score, which means the match will then go into overtime, the golden goal rule will come into effect, and the first team to score 1 goal in overtime will be the winner. Which means the enemy team basically have to score 2 goals from now if they want to win. 1 in normal time, 1 in overtime, and they've got just over a minute to bag that first goal. But young Eddie here is about to crush all of their hopes and dreams, because with 20 seconds to go, in fact less than 20 seconds to go, the red team goalkeeper, not content with scoring just 1 goal, goes and sinks another one right into the back of the net. 2-0, 10 seconds remaining, game over. Well, it should be, but for some reason World of Tanks decides that now we're going to go into overtime, and the golden goal rule is in effect. So, yes, really, this happened. Apparently in World of Tanks, counting to 2 is a lot harder than anybody gives it credit for. So, what we're looking at now is a potential situation where the enemy team are losing 2-0, and if they score the next goal, they've won the game. Yeah, I know. No, I don't understand either. So having scored 2 goals, just what exactly more does a midfielding goalkeeper have to do? Well, Eddie wasn't happy with 1 goal. He's not happy with 2. Eddie, in fact, is going to get himself his hat-trick. So was that good enough, World of Tanks? Have they won again for the second time in the same match? They have? Okay, good. Go home, World of Tanks. You're drunk. Our second replay today, submitted by Game Hunter 10 here in the WZ132 Alpha, the Chinese Tier 9 light tank. This was originally going to make it into an episode of Why You Have to Be Mad. Judging by the email that accompanied this replay, it sounded like there were only 2 real instances worthy of mention during the course of this battle, but as it happened, well, the whole game was pretty good. Chock full of derps, facepalms, and amusing incidents, like this, well, Object 432, who decided that the best thing he could do there was slam his brakes on right in front of Game Hunter 10's accelerating light tank. But, you know, no harm, no foul. Incidentally, most of this game is going to be viewed in third-person external camera view, which actually turned out to be quite useful, as you got to see that daredevil handbrake turn there as Game Hunter parks himself up here in his spotting position. The reason it's an external camera third-person view is because I was basically looking for the funny. As far as I was aware when I started watching this battle, as I said earlier, there were only 2 real incidents worthy of mention, and I wanted to make sure I captured them. But in fact, the whole game was full of things worthy of mention. For example, hey, you with the Object 430 Mark II.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think that skinny old tree there probably wasn't quite wide enough to cover up the outline of your entire tank. And Game Hunter tried to tell him to fall back, but no, he just sat there going, who me? And now he's dead. So, yeah. And, yeah, I know he called him a noob in chat, right after warning him to fall back, but there's no real need for it, but at the same time, you can't really dispute the accuracy of the accusation. Anyway, I keep mentioning that I'm observing this game via taking direct control of the third-person external camera. So you're basically seeing what I am looking at, rather than what Game Hunter 10 was looking at. And yes, he did fire. He's desperately trying to finish off that M46, and yeah, he did get spotted, and yeah, he does get hit. But he doesn't hang around, knowing that he's about to take incoming fire. And these are just the basics. I mean, you should know this by now, particularly at Tier 9. And the reason that I'm using the external camera, even though I keep getting interrupted by things that are happening during the battle, and I swear I'm actually going to finish the story this time, is because reading the email that accompanied this replay sounded like there were only two things that were going to be worthy of actually recording. And so I was using the external camera in an effort to actually catch the funny when it happened. I wanted to make sure I got it on camera. And the reason I'm making such a point of telling you that for most of this battle I'm actually controlling the camera, not Game Hunter 10, is because if I don't, the comments are going to be flooded with people saying, oh, he's cheating, he's hacking, he's using an aimbot, you can see how he's never actually looking at what he's shooting, and so on, and so on, and so on. So just in order to preempt those kind of comments, the reason why you're seeing what you're seeing is because for most of this battle, I'm actually the one taking charge of the camera. Okay? I know you're going to do it anyway, because you're all a bunch of trolls. But, well, if I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't have you any other way. It's what makes reading the comments section of a Jingles video so amusing and interesting. So anyway, regardless, you have been warned, okay? Right. Anyway, Game Hunter, cautiously inching forward, looking for shots into the cap circle over there, and attempting to reclaim his old spotting position. And there, did you see the tree falling on the path up ahead? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I think he did see it as well, so yeah, maybe not. We don't know what's over there. Could be something big and nasty. So, back this way. We don't know what's up there. Oh, well, now we do. I mean, it could have been one of the enemy heavies. I mean, yeah, I know it shouldn't have been one of the enemy heavies, but this is World of Tanks. Anything is possible. So he decides, I'm going to go for it. And this is where we come across the first funny, and the reason why I'm using external camera. Hello, small tank. Didn't expect to find you there. What's that? You need a bit of help getting moving? Allow me to oblige. He's not getting out of there in a hurry. And this is why I'm using the external camera in this battle. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything like that. Totally worth it. Of course he did get spotted, and that's a very, very small rock. Luckily, he's in a very, very small tank. Very small tank with a rather big 100mm gun. But that S-Tank prototype is still around the corner. And this isn't a particularly big rock. It doesn't really look like there's space around here for more than one underage tank. Bear that thought in mind. Right, bear in mind this is the domination game mode here on Lakeville. The cap circle is over there, in the town, and the enemy team are definitely contesting. Now, just because this is domination doesn't mean that you can't expect to find at least a third of both teams busy being irrelevant over in the valley on the far side of the map, as far away from the cap circle as they can possibly be without actually being on Himmelsdorf. This is World of Tanks. Anything is possible. Meanwhile, the reason I was making such a big deal about the size of this rock that Game Hunter 10 is hiding behind is because he is not the only remaining underage tank on his team. Here comes the other one, an RU-251. Does not have a huge amount of health left. Do you think he knows that Swedish tank destroyer is down the other end of that road? Oh, I think he knows now. He's like, nope, 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 nope. Maybe, maybe, shall we, perhaps, You know, if you've proximity detected him, he's proximity detected you as well. And he is in a very low health light tank sitting in the middle of a stretch of open road while spotted with 2 enemy artillery in play. Can you guess what's going to happen next? Yep. Can you guess what's going to happen now? Yep. Oh, you. Get out from behind this rock. All he's really succeeding in doing is ensuring that the next artillery strike hits both of them. Yeah, thanks for that. Oh, actually, there are 3 artillery in play, so it's even worse than I initially guessed. Alright. On the bright side, the wreck of the RU-251 should provide a nice little bit of additional armour protection against any, oh, I don't know, Swedish tank destroyers who decide to push their luck around the side of that road. Yes, I can hear your astonished gasps from here. No, I am not some kind of wizard. No, I cannot see the future, but I've already watched the replay, so I know exactly what's about to happen. And once again, hello, enemy tank destroyer. Do you need a bit of a push? Let me see if I can't help you out there. And he does it again. Remember, kids, if it's funny once, it's funny every time. And yes, I realise that explains most of my jokes. Well, I say most of my jokes, I only have about 3. But like I said, if they're funny once, they're funny every time. We'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not they're even funny once. Anyway, enemy artillery spotted. This is probably going to take more than one shot, even though he does have a 100mm gun. Unless somebody else would like... There we go, fantastic, good. 1 scumbag down, 2 remaining. Enemy team are still capping, but they don't have a huge amount of points over there. And it is... Oh, I said domination, didn't I? It's not domination, of course. This is encounter mode, so it takes forever to cap anyway. Maybe we could go and... There's got to be... You know there's going to be 1 artillery shelling the valley at the back there, where a whole bunch of tanks are continuing to be completely irrelevant. Because the artillery can still be dangerous, even if the tanks in the valley are being completely irrelevant. And sure enough, there he is, and sure enough, that shot bounced. Well, of course it did. Right. Has this guy loaded? Because if he has... Well, at this range, yep, he stands as much chance of killing himself as he does Game Hunter 10, but, well, to be completely fair, he didn't really have anything to lose. So, premium high explosive loaded, because of course why would you fire anything else in British artillery? But Game Hunter gets away with it, but only just. He's barely got any health, and he's not going to hang around farming kills and padding his stats on all the tanks being irrelevant in the valley, because the enemy team are capping. Of course, the Yag Tiger that he's just passed going in the other direction is going to pad his stats and farm damage on the tanks being irrelevant in the valley, and contribute to the irrelevance himself when the team are about to lose, unless somebody gets their ass over here to the cap circle, you know, where it matters, and actually does something about resetting the cap. And that's what Game Hunter 10 is going to do. Because if somebody doesn't do it, this team of 6 will lose to 3 enemy tanks. I mean, look at where his team are. Aside from him, nobody is further east than the 3 line. Artillery spotted, Yag Tiger spotted. Goes for the Yag Tiger, it's the right choice. The Yag Tiger had the majority of the capture points. There's the cap reset. You're welcome, team. Don't mention it. They've just lost another tank to the enemy object 277, but that means there are only 2 of them in the cap circle. He's reset 1, but with 91 health, you don't want to be taking any chances against the enemy artillery. He doesn't even have to hit you. He's going for the Yag Tiger again. Very, very dangerous game he's playing here. That shot bounced. Team, if you'd like to get your asses over here, because you've got about a minute in which to do it. Unless he can kill this Yag Tiger. He's loading the high explosive. Oh, nice little shot there. Okay, this might actually be enough to kill the Yag Tiger. You can just snap the shot off. You can hit him pretty much anywhere, and yes, he's killed the Yag Tiger. Now, just the artillery remaining. Ooh. Not spotted. Okay. Which side is the artillery going to be expecting him to pop up from? 50% chance of getting it right, and he gets it wrong. Oh well. Even a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. And look at this guy. Seriously? You're chasing a Backchat 15555 and you stop around the corner to engage siege mode? What's wrong with you? Let's switch to the Emil 2. Yeah, he's going to do it. There we go. 1 RAM dead. Finally. Oh man, that was hard work. In fact, it did seem like a lot harder work than it needed to be, but hey, welcome to online multiplayer gaming. If you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be here. In fact, the only thing that was not surprising about that replay from Game Hunter 10 from the Quickie Baby Strike Force in the WZ132 Alpha was that despite all of that, he still actually lost money. Because he wasn't running a premium account. Oh, and I suppose the theme for today's video is Go Home World of Tanks. You're drunk. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it because that's all we have time for today. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.